If you're guilty of domestic violence, you have a better chance of avoiding a conviction than if you're innocent. I said what I said. It's not fair, but it's true. And in this video, I'll explain exactly why you have a better chance of avoiding a conviction, walking away with a clean record if you're guilty than if you're innocent. My name is Veronica Barton. I'm a domestic violence criminal defense attorney here in California. I help people throughout the entire state of California put their cases behind them so that they can enjoy their lives and their freedom. Every case is different. There are no guarantees, but for clients who signed on with me and whose cases were resolved last year, 95.83% of them avoided a conviction, and 100% of those who got arrested for the first time avoided a conviction. That's my goal for every single client. Okay, so why are you more likely to be convicted if you are innocent? Let's get into that so that this does not happen to you. It's because of your mindset about a few key things. First off, if you know you're guilty, or even if it's a borderline case like self-defense or a heated argument that got physical, here's what you're probably going to do. You're going to lawyer up fast. You're going to find the best attorney you can, someone who handles domestic violence every day. You're scared, and you know that if anybody looks closely at the evidence, it's not going to be good for you. So you hire someone quickly. And just to be clear, hiring an attorney quickly, hiring a good attorney quickly, doesn't actually make you look guilty. It makes you look smart because you know that time matters. You know that your defense matters. But if you're innocent, you might be thinking, well, the truth will set me free. Or if I get an attorney right now, maybe I will look guilty. Maybe an innocent person would just trust the system. And that's a huge mistake because then you're trying to navigate this alone, making all the classic missteps that innocent people often make. Meanwhile, being treated like you're guilty without any guidance. The system is not intuitive, and this idea that you should trust that the truth will come out or trust the universe when it comes to domestic violence cases does not work. Let's get into an example of how this plays out. Dan got arrested after his girlfriend Fran said that he pushed her. Now, Dan didn't think that he needed a lawyer right away. He didn't push her. There was no evidence other than her word. And he thought that surely it would all get sorted out, so he waited. He went to his first court date alone. And at that point, the DA had already filed felony charges against him. Now, when Dan finally did hire a lawyer, the first thing that lawyer told him was, this is the kind of case that might have been dropped if someone had stepped in before your court date. And that was true, but Dan believed that the system would work itself out, and now he finds himself in court being treated like a criminal and fighting against a felony. Now, here's the second big difference that I see as a domestic violence criminal defense attorney. Guilty people are readily willing to go to domestic violence classes. Innocent people, not so much. Now, if you're my client, I have the opportunity to explain it to you, explain why you should go, whether you're innocent or guilty. But for everyone else, look, the California criminal justice system loves these classes, domestic violence classes. Guilty, innocent, it does not matter. If you're doing them, it makes everyone feel better about your case. These domestic violence classes are mandatory if you are convicted. But if you do them early, if you do them proactively, it does not mean that you're guilty. It just tells the system this person is taking it seriously. Let's get into an example. Ben was offered a deal, misdemeanor charges that would be dismissed if he did some domestic violence counseling, but Ben didn't want to do it. He felt like taking the deal would make him look guilty, and he was not guilty. So he goes to trial. During trial, the DA, the prosecutor, plays the body-worn camera footage from the night of the arrest. The alleged victim, who's now supporting Ben, who's totally on his side now, had originally told officers that Ben started it. She was just trying to protect herself from getting arrested that night, but what she said on the video was bad, and the jury saw that. They convicted him. The criminal justice system and those in it, like judges and prosecutors, love programs for everything. Alcohol, AA, DUI, classes, drugs, rehab, outpatient, NA, mental health therapy. It's how they check boxes. It is how it works. They want to see that you're fixable. They want to see that you're not a lost cause. And they want to see that you are taking this seriously. Look, a lot of people who are eventually convicted and are required to do those classes, they have check-in dates with the judge. A lot of them don't go. You're showing that you are not like those people. In fact, without even being ordered, you are going to these things ahead of time. Why? Because you take this seriously. You take your life seriously. It's not, no big deal like it is for some people to get arrested and end up in a criminal court as a defendant. Now, guilty people hear about these classes and programs and they go, yeah, okay, maybe that helps me avoid jail. Maybe that helps me avoid a conviction, because they're scared, because they know that the evidence is bad for them. So they do it readily. They think, great, get out of jail free card, I go to some classes, I get done with this, perfect. But innocent people naturally think, hey, maybe that makes me look guilty, or I don't need domestic violence classes, I didn't do anything wrong. If anything, I'm a victim. Guilty people too, if they feel remorse, might even think, you know what, I did lose my temper. sure, maybe this will help me figure some of this out. Same goes for therapy. It's tragic, but guilty people, if they're offered classes in exchange for a dismissal, they will jump on it. They know if they go to trial, they are expecting to lose, but innocent people think, well, the truth will come out at trial. Not really understanding how it works, because it's not always just about the truth. It's about what they can prove and what a jury believes. I mean, think about it. They come in with assumptions, even if they don't admit it. You could be 100% innocent, but still have statements that look bad, or photos that look bad, or a jury thinking he got arrested. He probably did something. I mean, especially if this is your first time being arrested, you can probably understand that. If you were on a jury, you might even have the same thought. And I have talked to potential jurors who say that, who say, I don't like woman beaters. And they look right at my client. There's been no evidence presented. They don't know that my client is what they call a woman beater. But that's how a lot of them feel. Another difference between innocent people and guilty people. Guilty people usually do not try to contact the detective or the DA or make more statements. They know that it's probably going to end badly for them. Innocent people, on the other hand, might make the mistake of calling the DA's office or the detective before the first court date, thinking, again, the truth will set me free. This is all a big misunderstanding. I just have to clear it up. What they don't realize is that everything that they say will be used against them. Even if they think it's not bad for them, the DA, the detective will twist their words because that's their job. Every statement is a piece of evidence. Now, a lot of innocent people don't know any of this. They don't realize how counterintuitive the way that domestic violence cases are handled is. And in my office, we hear this all the time from innocent people who did not take this seriously, who did not realize what they were up against until it was too late. They'll call us sometimes 6 months after their first court date, sometimes longer, saying, my case is set for trial. The DA wants me to take a felony with probation. Can you help? And by then, sometimes the damage is already done. Sometimes opportunities have been missed. Sometimes statements have been made. Sometimes the case has been mishandled to the point where getting back to the point of getting the case dismissed and keeping their record clean might be an impossibility. And if you are thinking, I'll fight this in trial, be ready. Because a lot of people also don't realize that a criminal trial is insanely expensive. You are hiring a lawyer to spend 1 to 2 weeks in court every day focused only on your case. Meanwhile, I mean, this is just the reality. They are paying other lawyers just to cover everything else that they put on hold. And at least for me, for every hour that I spend in court, I spend at least 2 hours outside of court prepping. When I'm in trial, that's a 100-hour week in addition to all the prep before that. It's expensive with me, with any attorney who is actually going to put the work in to giving you your best shot at winning trial. It could be 10 times more expensive than it would have been if you hired someone early on who can work it out so that you are guaranteed no conviction. That's much better than hiring someone for 10 times more for the chance later to maybe, if 12 random people don't vote against you, even though you are accused of domestic violence, you are sitting there as a defendant in a criminal courtroom. And at that point, a lot of people have priced themselves out. They may not realize this. Their attorney may not tell them this. And at 6 months or longer into your case, you might not even have more time at this point. The judge might say, no more delays. It's been long enough. Now, I am telling you this not to scare you. Hopefully, when you're watching this video, it is not too late for you. Maybe it's before your first court date. Maybe it's very early on in your case. And I don't want you to end up in this situation as an innocent person who does not deserve a conviction. Now, I'm focused so much on convictions here because a domestic violence conviction can never be fully erased from your record in California. I see this every day. The guilty act fast to protect themselves, and the innocent, they wait, and they end up getting crushed. So do not let that be you. If you are innocent, if you were falsely accused, if this was just a mistake, just one bad night, something that got out of control, start acting like you've got something to lose. Stop trusting the system. Stop trusting the universe. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do have a domestic violence criminal case in California, feel free to give me a call. You can find my number down below. You can also find a Calendly link to book a free consultation directly there. And if you did find it helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell. And if you have a question or a comment, leave it in the comments.